Hi, it's me. It's been a little bit. I'm not gonna give any updates or anything. I'm gonna save a video for that. As you can see, change in scenery. I just moved. Yeah, it's been an exciting time and stuff, but I'll save that for the update. But as of now, I'm going to go through my reading list of this year. I didn't read as much as last year because, well, I've had to move. A lot of stuff in my life has changed around and stuff like that for the good, not for bad or anything like that. But yeah, shit has just been absolutely crazy these past couple weeks. But yeah, I thought I'd give my 2023 book summary. I plan on reading a lot more 2024, but as of 2023, I only read about 22 books. I read a bunch of manga, graphic novels, but I didn't really keep track of them, so I probably won't do a tier list unless if you guys want me to. Please comment down below. But without further ado, long as intro, let's get right into it. So first up, I read True Grit. I thought this was pretty good. It's written in very old, like southern western type of speech. But pretty much it follows basically the same plot as the movie, whether you watch the 1962 version or the 2010 version with Haley Steinfeld and I think it was Jeff Bridges, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Maybe that's wrong. I don't know. But very very good. Just not A or S tier. I wouldn't like reread it or anything like that. But it was a good read. If you like a good old revenge tale, this one is as old as time. Um, and if you like that, if you like westerns with revenge, this is like cream of the crop. This is it. Then we get into Blood Meridian, and this is probably one of the greatest novels I've ever read in my life. Um, with McCarthy, I have read The Road, and I read No Country for Old Men, and both those books are very, very good. But I would honestly say, in my opinion, I know it doesn't matter much, but in my opinion, I think Blood Meridian is probably the best thing he's ever written. This shit was so it's probably one of the most, and I've read horror novels and stuff, not like shock horror, like Baby in a Blender or some shit like that, but like some like really like horrific like horror books and stuff like that just try to like get like last year I read Cows. I thought that was fucking stupid and just for shock value and stuff. Blood Meridian, every violence is like it is unnecessary, but because of the time they're in, it makes sense. If that makes any sense, like the it doesn't take the glitz and glamour of like a John Wayne type like western novel. It's very much set in its times, and some people have even like questioned some ways of depiction of race in this, but like like McCarthy set out to do the most like accurate version of the West, but also the most violent version of the West. And he does that successfully. This is probably one of the best novels. This will probably remain on top. I am a big fantasy fan, although this is a personal list. It's a personal enjoyment, but still, even personal enjoyment, I would definitely put this S tier. McCarthy albums are a little hard to get into if you're not really into reading that much. Number one, he doesn't use quotation marks at all, so you have to like be really paying attention to what the characters are saying and stuff. So even though it's a short book, it takes like a little bit longer to read. It's kind of like the Cimmerillion, where the Cimmerillion doesn't really have like an over. It has plot, but it's more so told like a biblical sense. So you have to pay attention like that. Not saying that that's the same as Blood Meridian, but just attention span. Like you really got to be honed in on this book. Um, to understand what's going on exactly. But yeah, no, Blood Meridian, awesome, great. I wouldn't recommend it to everyone. This is very much like, every trigger warning possible. Like, if you even have one, like if you even can't stand one thing in media like that's remotely dark, I wouldn't recommend this to anyone. But it is a classic novel and it's great. The Only Good Indians, very, very good. I believe the author is Stephen Grams, I believe. Um, Very, very good horror. It's pretty much how it's described. I guess like the pitch line is um, Native Americans get out, basically. It's like a horror novel where we follow three perspectives of basically the plot of the book is some Native Americans in modern time. They have this sacred land where they can't hunt deer in there. Like you're not allowed to kill deer. You're not allowed to take your kill or whatever. Otherwise, you get like disbanded from the tribe basically. And three um, three men in their like earlier years, they kill these deers, bring them back to the village, and like it pretty much these like deer spirits or whatever you want to call it, like just haunt them and fuck with them, and it gets fucked up. It follows like three of their perspectives. Like each chunk of the book is from each person's perspective, and yeah, no, it's fucked, and it's a short read, but it was really really good. I hope they adapt this into a movie, um, or at least like a 3 episode TV show, something like that. But yeah, no, it was really good. Then we have Hellmouth. This was like a 58-page novella. This was pretty good. I mean, the problem with these novellas, and I do it to myself, they're so short that you don't really get a lot of context for the world. And like, there were a lot of like, I think in this one, there's like a priest that like rules, like they have like a society where like priests rule the surrounding kingdom and stuff like that. And I guess this was an actual movie pitch, but they just turned it into a book, and now they're hoping to get into a movie. I don't think that's happened yet, but like I'd be interested to see at least a short of this, because it is based on an actual like, um, basically there's like this torn apart castle. Not even a castle, it's like a part of a castle where there's a well that apparently goes down to the depths of hell, that actually existed. Not like people thought back then, like the well was so deep that it actually like took you to hell kind of thing. Um, but like yeah, so it was an interesting read. If you have an afternoon to kill, it's good to kill like an hour and a half, 2 hours on this book. Yeah. Thrawn. This is the rebooted Thrawn series, or the Disney canon stuff now. I liked it. It was on and off for me. I know that you can't really make Thrawn. I mean, you can make Thrawn the POV, but it's a lot less interesting because he's just so much more tactile. But I wasn't really a fan of the POV character in this. He kind of is like Thrawn's right hand man kind of thing. He kind of annoyed me. So I would put this, although I still had a good time. I would put this up here. It's still a good Star Wars book. I've read the original Thrawn trilogy. That one is still the best. But I heard these new books were good. Maybe the next one will be better. Um, but overall, good. Not terrible, not meh, but good. Xenos. This is a Warhammer book that follows Inquisitors, I believe they're called. I was really into Warhammer in the beginning of the year. I would put this probably bottom C. I'll be honest. Or not bottom, but like top of C. It was good. It was interesting. It's just like it's a good beginning for like if you want to get to Warhammer lore and stuff. But I felt like the novel dragged in parts, and I started to just get really uninterested toward the end. It's kind of hard with Warhammer for me because like everyone's just mean, and I like that in the grand context of like just lore in general. But when you put that into like a story, like none of these characters really like hit with you. It's very well written. Like I'm not saying that, but it's just like it's the context of the universe that's kind of like, but yeah. Same with Horus Heresy. I did not really like this one. Not saying that it's really bad. It's in D. Like I didn't put an F tier because I don't feel like any of these deserve F tier. But it was just okay. Again, unless if you know your Warhammer shit, like I wouldn't recommend reading this at all. But yeah, I don't know if I'll keep reading these. I mean, I have a bunch of them on a humble bundle, so maybe one day I'll just like sit down and just plow through them. But there's like fucking like 40 books of the Horus Heresy and shit. I'm not gonna read them all, but like maybe just the main ones. But yeah, like Horus Heresy, it was all right. Horus Rising, okay, but not. It's like it's not even mad. It's like meh. All Systems Red. I'll be honest, this one didn't really jive with me. Um, I thought it was just okay. Like Daniel Green really likes um, this book. I just the sense of humor doesn't really it's too millennial or Gen Z. I don't know how to describe it. It just I was like I get what it was saying, but like it was saying it in a very obnoxious way. Maybe the rest of the books aren't really like that, but I just didn't really jive with this one. They're short reads, which is good. So maybe I'll just do like a plow through all of them, and there's only like six like novellas, I think. So it would be an easy thing to like do for a month. Just read all Murderbot stuff. But yeah, I mean, read the description if you think you'll like it. You think it's your sense of humor, then great. But for me, it was just kind of it was all right. All right, now we get to all the Red Rising books. You know what? Maybe I'm gonna save those for later. Um, and jump right into fantasy. I'll do like the series that I read. Very last. I put all these in order on purpose, and I'm not even going in order. I'm fucking chaotic. Pilgrim of Swords. This one's from Anthony Ryan. He's writing another series that apparently is very good. I forget the name of it. Again, this one was short, so I didn't really get much out of it. There was more world building and stuff. It had like 80 pages to do so. It was interesting, but like if you asked me to name any of the characters or what it was really about, I kind of draw a blank on you. Honestly, I read it a while ago, and most of the characters introduced in this don't end up being around for very long. So it's just kind of like you don't really get attached to any of the characters. The good thing is the world building in this. Like, there's a demon sword and stuff like that, and like at the end of their journey, there are two characters that stick together that are going to continue on with the series. So maybe I'll continue the series because they are because they are short books. So I I want to read them all just because they're not huge. Time sucks, and I'm planning to read at least 50 books 2024. So like the shorter the books, the better to just stack on and stuff like that. But yeah, no, meh. All right, so let's do Daniel Green's book. I like this one quite a bit. I was very impressed. Usually like YouTuber stuff, you're just kind of like, oh, it's from a YouTuber. Like they're just trying to sell you stuff. What does that mean, Jack? Jesus, no, but like you know what I mean. It's just like, oh, I wrote a book, and then you read it, or like, oh, I made a movie, and you're like, what the fuck is this movie? Like Shane Dawson or something like that. Like, what the fuck is like Smiley? Right? That was the name of the movie. It was like, what the fuck is this? This is utter garbage. Um, but no, Daniel Green, he has definite potential. He actually released all the audiobooks to his written work for free on his YouTube channel, which is so sick. So I kind of um, did that. I just listened to the audiobook and stuff. And I think this shows great potential. He's definitely interested in the world that he's building and character work. You can sense a lot of like it's kind of a mixture of like Brandon Sanderson and Joe Abercrombie, at least its approach. I'm not saying that he's up there to the levels of this. This is still a very beginner's novel kind of thing, but there's some parts that he could work on his writing a little bit. But like besides that, I mean, the dude shows a lot of fucking promise, and this like I finished this audiobook through and through. It was only like 7 hours long. I just put it on during a work shift and got through it pretty easily within a day or two. Yeah, no, I'm pleasantly surprised, and I can't wait to listen to the second book. And yeah, Theft of Swords. This was really good. I liked it a lot. Um, it follows this like buddy duo. It's kind of like a buddy cop, but like medieval fantasy vibes. And like the two main characters here are just hilarious together. Their dynamic is hilarious. These books collect. I guess the author initially wrote the stories. Like, so there's two stories in this book that were originally like two separate novels, I believe. But like the cover of this, as you can see, like they combined. It's like a two in one type of book deal. I like the first story a lot more than the second, but even the lore in this is really interesting. Like, I was just expecting like a small fantasy world, like just buddy cop thing where they hang out in the same village through most of it and find out a mystery. But no, they travel a lot of places. You get to discover the lore, and I forget the author's name, but like he plants in a lot of like lore that will, from what I've heard from like reviews and stuff, will be like re-explored in later books and stuff like that. So I'm interested. I actually listened to the graphic audio of this. Highly recommend graphic audio. It's like sound effects, music, different characters with voice actors, so it's not just one narrator stuff. I highly recommend that graphic audio. It's really good. Um, but yeah, Theft of Swords, really excellent. One of my favorites in the fantasy genre this year. Let's go. Let's go with the Court of Thorns and Roses. I'll be honest. I didn't hate this. Um, mm, yeah, I'll put it bottom B. Um, so basically, me and my lovely girlfriend, we were like, okay, I really like Red Rising. I want you to read Red Rising. She likes Akhtar, aka Court of Roses and Thorns, um, Thorns and Roses. And we were like, okay, if I read Court of Thorns and Roses, you read Red Rising. I'm in the middle of Court of Mist and Fury right now. I kind of make fun of her because they're mostly romance books. The elements of fantasy in this um, are what really drove me to kept reading, like the intrigue of like the Fae and stuff like that. And it's just so funny now that I'm reading like a Court of Mist and Fury, how like Tamlin is set up as like the main love interest in the first book, and then all of a sudden like everyone just drags him, right? Like TikTok's just being like dragging fucking Tamlin, and another character that gets introduced actually in a Court of Thorns and Roses, but it's really elaborated on in Court of Mist and Fury. Maybe I'll do reviews on these books. But like it's just kind of interesting. Like the romance part, like it's good, and like it, I mean, it is good. I thought Tamlin was a good character, but like they really kind of drag him in the second one, so like it's a little odd. But it's interesting. I definitely get the appeal. Is it my favorite? No, but I think it's good. I think it has merit. Um, but yeah, I thought it was good. Um, all right, let's do last. I started a lot of series and didn't finish them. Like started this, didn't finish. 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 Like I finished the books, but just didn't continue on with the series. It was a lot of just like hand picking a bunch of like number ones and being like, okay, like is this what I'm gonna be into? Is this what I'm gonna be into? And only Red Rising, but this is all a reread, so it almost doesn't even count. Yeah, I guess the next best one is like, but this is like just a prequel one. Anyways, so Poppy War, I really liked Poppy War. Oh, I'm gonna place it in top of A for now. Poppy War is fucking awesome. I'm definitely gonna complete this this year. The next two books. It's so like it's such a 180. You think it's just going to be like, oh, it's just going to be this girl who goes into um this academy, and she's going to make a bunch of friends. It's going to be like Harry Potter, but like a little bit more like Chinese inspired magic and stuff like that, Chinese culture and stuff like that. And then like it takes a 180 and it becomes like bloody, violent, and brutal. The main character is supposedly, I forget who she's based off of, but she's actually based off of like a real life dictator, and stuff like that. Like the author wrote it as if like this dictator was a teenage girl in a magical land or something like that. And like you're not supposed, like I could see how people don't like this book and just drop it immediately, like don't even complete it, because like the main character can seem insufferable, but I think that's the point. um and if I would be a huge hypocrite if I didn't like this book, because I'm reading Red Rising, and like where Red Rising is right now is like, you may not agree with the main character, but you want to see what fucking happens. So I'm very used to like protagonists where I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, please stop. Like, you're doing it all wrong. Or not even liking a protagonist and still following them. Like, I have no problem with that. But I totally get how people can have a problem with that. But the world was very interesting. The characters, the side characters were very likable and stuff. But the main character, I think her name's Rin. I was just like, oh my god, like she's so insufferable. But I can't stop reading about her because I want to know what happens next. And it's very impressive to do that in a book and still keep my attention and still be like, oh my god, I want to read more about what happens next to this character. Like, this character is insufferable, but I can't wait to learn what she's gonna do next. So yeah, that's where I'm at with Poppy War. I thought it was very very good. I believe the author's name is P.F. Um, I'm not gonna speculate because I should have researched the author's names before I fucking did this video. But very good, 10 out of 10. Again, look up all of these, and if they interest you at all, like definitely read them. All right. What do I want to do? Do I want to do Sanderson? Maybe I'll do Sanderson. No, you know what? I like this is series is The Bound and the Broken. The first one is Of Blood and Fire. I thought this was very good. I'm gonna put this like right here. Um, I thought this was very very good. It's a slow read, and even the author, like in the beginning of the books and stuff like that, he's like, "Here's a reading order. If you want action packed first, then I would suggest reading this order. But if you want like to like really build with the world and learn as you go along, then do this reading order. Basically, A Blood and Fire is the first book. The Fall is a prequel to that book set like I think 3,000 years before the actual events, and it's The Fall is just all action. These are pretty much on par. Um, I would say I enjoyed The Fall a little bit more just because it was more action packed and stuff like that. Yeah, no, actually, because like it's good to read of Blood and Fire first because then like when you read The Fall after that, you're like, oh shit, this is what they were talking about, kind of thing. But if you're a type of reader like I really need to like I don't like slow pacing, I need something to convince me. Read The Fall first because it's literally just like the downfall of like the dragon riders and stuff like that, and that's all the book is literally just action. I feel like I've been leaning out of the frame for the longest time. It's literally just action. Out of Blood of Fire, it takes a while to get to that action and stuff like that, and I can't wait to read the rest of the books. I heard the third one is extremely long, so I'm excited. I like my chunky fucking fantasy novels. Love those. But yeah, like this series, Bound and Broken, definitely gonna finish it by the end of 2024, and I'm very very excited. Let's do Sanderson and then we'll do Red Rising last. So The Way of Kings. This is, I enjoyed reading this a lot more. I'll be honest. This is by like writing standards the better one, but like I love Sanderson's writing in this. Oh my god, The Way of Kings is like I actually went out of order. You're supposed to read the Mistborn trilogy first, in like the grand scheme of the Cosmere. That's like Brandon Sanderson's like universe or whatever. But I was like, I'm an experienced fantasy reader. I love my thick and chunkies. I'm going to start off with this, and I kind of glad I am because like it's just so good. The Way of Kings is just so good. It gets you so invested. And I heard the second one is great. I'm trying to go in a reading order. I think I'm gonna try to catch up to the Cosmere this year. I have a lot of plans this year, but yeah, The Way of Kings, you gotta read it if you're an experienced fantasy fan. If you're not, I would read Mistborn first. Um, Mistborn was really good. It gets a little while to get there, but like if you're intrigued by magic systems at all and how magic works, like this is a great read for you and totally deserves to be a video game. Like I know they want to make it into a movie or TV show and I'm excited about that, but I feel like the way the magic system works here, like I just want to I see this as like a video game in my mind. Like it's really fucking cool. Um Basically it's kind of like Full Metal Alchemist in a way. They use a lot of um like controlling metal to like maneuver and like fly through the sky or like flick coins at you that go right through you and shit like that. Like it's really really good. It's basically I forget what YouTuber said it, but it's like if Ocean's 11 mixed with Mordor, like the main characters trying to get into Mordor kind of thing. Like really really fun. And like it's got that Attack on Titan type of mystery box thing where it's like you reveal one thing, but when you reveal that one thing about the world, then there's five other fucking questions. So like it keeps you really intrigued. Like I picked up the second one immediately. That Mistborn's series is probably going to be the first one I pick up um this year and like read all the way through because it was really intriguing and stuff. Way of Kings is awesome though. Um, it's probably one of the best fantasy novels I've ever read, honestly. So yeah. All right, Red Rising. Here we go. So, how do I make this totally like not just all A and S tier? Because I'll be honest, I'm a huge Red Rising fan. Like I love Red Rising. Um, I'm gonna put It's just all gonna be an A and S. I'm sorry, but I'm such a huge Red Rising guy. Like I love, and I know people are like, "Oh, the first book's not that great." First book is awesome. Like it's just sick, and Pierce Brown just gets better and better after every book. Darrow is just an interesting character, especially to see him at the beginning of his journey. You know what? I'm gonna bump it. I'm gonna bump it a little bit down. I'll bump it. Yeah, I'll bump it right here. I'll be fair. I'll bump it right here. Um, yeah. Um, but like just to see the beginning of Darrow's story because it does kind of like its sales pitch had to be like adult Hunger Games, so like you can kind of see that and like oh okay like I see where like he went with this, but then after that it just completely ditches that concept and like it's like all right now we're gonna explore the world, which is what I wish the original Hunger Games did. Like I wish in the original Hunger Games passed by, and then now it's just all about the politics and stuff like that. That's only in like Mockingjay, right? Mockingjay, and then in Catching Fire, it's like, oh, we're gonna do another Hunger Games thing, and it's like, why? We just already went through this. But I really like Red Rising. It's excellent. If you're into sci-fi fantasy, pick this one up. It's an absolute fucking must. Like for beginner readers, for anyone, it is so fucking good. Um, yeah, and then Golden Sun is just fucking awesome. I fucking love Golden Sun. Oh my god. Yeah, I would put it above Mistborn, but just below Way of Kings. Dude, Golden Sun is like it's like the Empire Strikes Back. It's just a giant chase sequence from the events that happened in the first Red Rising. Um, like all of a sudden, like there's like civil war breaking out, and like what side Darrow lands on and how he has to help the enemy basically, and how he's like really conflicted with that, and you see that he's conflicted with like a lot of the characters that were from the previous novel and stuff. And then the ending was just fucking it's like I did not expect, like my jaw fucking dropped. And like every Red Rising novel, like the last chapter, you're like, the previous chapter's like, all right, everything's whittling down, and then the last chapter just fucking hits you and you're like, wait, what? Now I have to wait a year to read this? I mean, like, I picked up Red Rising when the trilogy was out, and then I've been reading Iron Gold and Dark Age as they were being published. But, or that's not true. Only Dark Age. Like, I caught up to Dark Age. Um, yeah. Okay. So Morning Star is pretty much, I would say, on par. I don't know if I would put it above. They're pretty much the same, but I just like the conclusion of the original trilogy because it ends happily, sort of, in a way. And then, like, the later novels, like Iron Gold, Dark Age, Lightbringer, which I still have to read, and then Red God, which will be coming out soon, hopefully. Like, those novels, like, after this point, it's like, oh, fuck. But yeah, no, I like Morning Star. It's really good. It's a great cap off to the original trilogy. Big fan of it. Um, Iron Gold is like my least favorite, and I think it was like a really trudge through to get through. Like usually Red Rising novels, like I'm just like the original trilogy, I literally picked up within like a single month. I think in one of my videos, I think it was one of the first book tier list videos. I was literally like I could not put the book down, like the series down. I read the whole trilogy in like one fucking month. Um, but like yeah, Iron Gold really slowed me down. I think it was because the different point of views in some characters I just did not give a fuck about. It's a Game of Thrones problem where you hit a brand chapter and you're like, oh my god, I fucking hate brand chapters so much. And Iron Gold is kind of like that. I would even put it definitely above B. It's not the strongest. My reread of it, I still am not a huge fan of it. Um, but it's still good. Now we're on to Dark Age. This one is so good. This is probably the best Red Rising novel I've read so far. I heard Lightbringer is up there too. A lot of S tier heavy, but you know what? I read a lot of good books this year. Fuck it. What are you gonna do about it? Um, but yeah, Dark Age was fucking awesome, and like holy shit, like all right, if you care about characters in the media, like you get really attached to side characters or just all characters, don't read Red Rising because it will drive a spike in your heart and twist it as further as it could go. Like this is like Game of Thrones in space type of deal. Like this is like holy fuck, like even more intense than Game of Thrones, I would say. Like holy shit, like I can't believe that character just died, or holy shit, like at a point in the chapter, I thought a prominent character was gonna die. Like I was thoroughly convinced. I'm like, oh my god, like he's gonna continue the series without this character. Holy shit. Like it had me thoroughly convinced. And it's not afraid to kill off major characters. It's just so, like cream of the crop. Like I don't know if I would have it tied with Way of Kings. I still think Way of Kings is better. But like they're pretty fucking close in my opinion. Like they're so good. Like these are my two favorites of the year. Like my top two, straight up, is those. But yeah, that's my list. That's my tier list of all the books I have read this year. Look up all of these, see if they're interesting to you. You may be like, Jack, you're crazy for putting Murderbot in C tier, or like Poppy War's the best. What are you talking about? But comment all that down below, and I'll be posting tier lists all week. I have two more: best video games and best movies of the year. And after that, I'll probably do an update video of what I want to do with the channel and stuff. But these videos are mostly just for me to like go back on and like, oh, what did I read last year? What did I think about this? And stuff like that. But if you also enjoy it, leave a like and comment down below. And I appreciate all the support. Thank you guys so much for subscribing and watching. And yeah, goodbye.